Yo, what's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your boy JGreene back with yet another morals and value. But before we jump into everything, once again, I want to say thank you for all the love and support that you guys gave me on that video that I posted last week. As I said then and there, it really meant a lot for me to be able to share that moment with y'all, and I'm super happy that you guys received it the way that I was hoping you would. Now, if you were enjoying that video, if you enjoy my reviews and all these morals and values that I'm putting up, do your homie a favor, hook me up right now with a like and with a subscribe. Remember, it doesn't just help out me, it helps out my channel, and it helps out that YouTube algorithm, so that way they recognize your homie. Thank you in advance. Today, I'm about to give y'all a nice little PSA. In life, sometimes we forget how to conduct ourselves when certain things arise. And right now, I'm about to break down some much needed knowledge for a lot of y'all out there. Let's go. Now, I'm never gonna front like I'm the smartest guy in the class, but I do remember a little something from English where when you're writing a 5-paragraph essay, you got your introduction, you got your body kind of stating your facts and your information and all that stuff that supports your primary point, if you will, and then you got the conclusion. And I think that a lot of us out here fail to remember that that's how you prove a point or maybe make an opinion or a statement that is valid, if you will, and means something to other people around you. And I would implore you to start thinking of that and processing opinions and information that you get from people in that way. Let's start asking who, why, what, and where, things of this nature. So then that way, when we get this information, instead of just bickering back and forth over things that we may or may not agree with the other person, we can make some informed decisions. Let me give you a little backstory. Now, as I've mentioned a few times on this channel, I work for Orange Theory, and I love working for Orange Theory. When I first got hired on, you got your managers, you got me and all the other coaches, and then you got front desk staff. Now, for our studio to be successful, every piece of the puzzle from management, front desk, and coaches needs to be on the same page. We got to know how to talk to the members, give them the best experience possible, execute the workouts, things of that nature. There was a guy that was the manager at the time when I first got hired when my studio first opened. And he was a great coach. He came from another studio that was basically the mecca, if you will, in San Jose, California. All right, it was like the first studio in our whole area. And this was one of the original coaches. Smart guy, good build, good looking, deep voice. People liked him. He can command the room. He was a phenomenal coach. And he was a manager at my studio, a phenomenal manager, at least from my perspective as just a brand new coach. But at one point in time, he got either demoted or stepped down from manager, and then his whole attitude changed. He used to be positive, supportive, working with the team, figuring out ways on a constant basis to make the studio great, and he did that. But then, when he either stepped down or got demoted, I wasn't in the room, his whole attitude flipped, changed, complete 180. He started talking negative about management, negative about ownership. He started to even downplay the exercises, the whole program design, all that types of stuff. Now, before I continue on with what happened next, I want to remind y'all out there that there's always going to be levels to the game. And what I mean by that is you got your black and you got your white and you got your gray in between. Sometimes when you do certain things at work or school or in your own personal life, what matters most is where and how you did them. Okay? So if this guy is saying these negative things about the ownership team or management or coworkers, if you were to say it like a man in an actual meeting in front of these people so then we could deal with the issue, that's one thing. We can deal with that. But what he was doing was he was saying it in his classes on the microphone or at the end of his class during the summary breakdown when you're stretching out your people. So you just put them through a great workout, they're idolizing you, and they're hanging on every single word you say. So what happens now is you start talking negative about the front desk staff. Well, when the front desk staff tries to tell that member a certain thing that's gonna A, keep them safe, B, help them follow the rules so everyone is treated equally, that member now does not respect anything that that front desk member says, and they don't wanna listen. And that causes conflict and trouble. And you know what? We've all been there. Now, with that said, let's go back to the story. So this guy was demoted or he stepped down. Remember, I wasn't in the room. Me, on the other hand, I was just getting involved with Orange Theory, okay? I was loving the experience that I had with the members in and out of the studio. So I really took to trying to plan events so that way the coaches and the members could come together and we just create more of a bond, and then the classes are that much more fun. So eventually I stepped up to being a head coach. And when I stepped up, this guy was right there to be negative, tell me I couldn't do it, not listen to anything I said, not respect certain activities that he had to come to, meetings that were mandatory, things of this nature. It became a problem over time, bigger than I could have expected. No matter how many times myself and other management or even ownership would bring him in for one-on-ones, we were always met with the same negative attitude. Head shaking, head down, shut down, no emotions, no facts to back up the things that he said were the issue, and no solutions to bring to the table so we can move forward as a team and as a unit to progress our studio. Now, after a period of time of this going on and him becoming a bigger and bigger issue, members leaving, members just not following the rules, creating a big hubbub at the front desk, it came to a head and we had to let him go from our studio and our ownership team. He eventually bounced around to other studios and then eventually left those studios pretty much under the same type of issues. We never really got to the full understanding of what the problem was or what he wanted to change or what he wanted to fix or how he was going to be a part of the solution. He never gave us any of that information. Now, I hope that this guy's doing well right now. I'm pretty sure he's doing great. He's a fighter. He's a smart guy. Like I told you, he's got everything on his side. Now, by this time, you're probably wondering, JGreene, what the hell are you talking about? You said you was going to give us a PSA. You said something about a 5-paragraph essay, and all you've been doing for the past couple minutes is talking about this dude that was apparently a cancer to your studio. Yes, and the reason why I'm mentioning that is just as an example, because of the fact that this guy had a particular thought process on the workouts that we were conducting, how our studio was being conducted, and what he thought of ownership and management. But even though he had all three of these issues, there was never fact behind the issues that he had. There was never any resolve or solution that he wanted to work with us to solve that problem. And to me, that reminds me a lot of what we got going on in America right now. I seen a post that this guy put up the other day. He probably didn't think I was going to be able to see it because he blocked me a long time ago when I became head coach, and then he eventually left our studios. Fair enough, I got ears to the ground. Either way, I seen him make a post. Now, I'm not trying to get political. That's not the point. But he definitely is on one side of the fence, okay? And his post was a very generalized post, extremely negative post, but with no facts, just a random statement. Now, it is every person's right to say whatever they want. But I watch The Breakfast Club all the time, and Charlemagne the God often tells us you can say whatever you want, but then there's sometimes going to be consequences. And this guy had some consequences. There was a lot of people that he's friends with, that he follows on Facebook or follow him, that he's probably coached or trained at some point in time, that went in on him just a touch, wondering where he's getting his information, who are his sources for this stuff that he was saying, and also calling him out, saying that they believe he's wrong, and then they brought their own facts and evidence to the post. All right, so here's the real meat and potatoes of the PSA. A couple of things in conclusion. Number one, the fact that people responded to him, some agreed, some didn't agree, but the ones that didn't agree with him, that brought facts and evidence that you could go look up and see what they were talking about, he didn't respond back to them, which tells me that maybe you don't have all of the knowledge on the subject that you're referring to. So to me, your statement holds no water. So I wonder, why just leave a blanket statement out there? Yeah, you can do that, it's your right, but at the same time, if you really felt like something was real, if you really felt like something was detrimental to your standard of living, wouldn't you want other people to also have that knowledge so they too can make an informed decision and maybe lead their lives in a better way? Again, we're not talking about whether I or someone else does or doesn't agree with the statement that was made. We're just simply talking about, you say this is fact. Where are those facts coming from? Number two, I do think that it is very important and often overlooked to look at the person that is saying these opinions or statements. Rather than just jumping on them and saying, I don't agree with anything you say, or I agree with everything you say, let's look at that person's character for a moment. Because if their character is quite shitty, then maybe what comes out their mouth is just as shitty. Remember, this is a person who seemed like they had everything together. It was all good just a week ago. Then they either got demoted or they stepped down. And once that happened, all integrity was lost. This person was talking behind people's backs, downplaying the brand, management, ownership. They didn't want to work with anyone. And when questioned, like an adult, what can we do to fix the problems that you say are here, but with no facts or evidence, just appeasing this person, trying to get them back on the team, back in the game, they would say nothing. Instead, they would just walk off and talk that negative stuff to other people behind our backs. If that's the type of person that you're hearing things from, to me, that sounds like the type of person that's going to make some shit up. It's time for us to start vetting our sources, y'all. Look, guys, in the end of the day, the only way that we're going to make this life thing work together is if we actually work together. Understand that it's okay if you don't agree with me or I don't agree with you. You don't have to like what I like, and I don't have to like what you like. But you know what? You a human, I'm a human. I should respect you as such. I don't know everything. I'm not always the smartest guy in the room. In fact, seldom times am I the smartest guy in the room. Maybe when it comes to movies and comics, but that's another story another time. Point is, I've been a trainer since 2007, and I don't know every damn thing. I still ask questions about nutrition like, oh, what, for real? I still have questions about movement patterns and things of this nature. I'm learning every day, and I love having smarter people around me to learn from. There's things about government that I don't understand fully, so I go to smarter people to get information. And when those smarter people give me knowledge and information, I go and fact check that information. So then at least that one little thing, I understand a little bit more. And then if something comes up where I have an opportunity to make a choice based on that thing, or support someone in their choices and decisions in this field, I am now more informed. And now I can help the situation. So I can be a part of the solution rather than being part of the problem by just keeping my head down, making random statements and saying things that really go nowhere. You have no context or reason as to why I said them, and I have no facts and evidence to back them up. For all you know, I say some stuff like that, I start swaying people's opinions. Yeah, right, like I have that type of power. But I start swaying people's opinions. Next thing you know, you got a horde of people that are angry at OTF because they put too many fucking burpees on the template. So for any of you out there like this one cat who likes to just give an opinion or make a blanket statement, my challenge to you is bring us some evidence. Bring us some facts. It's not about whether I agree or disagree. I would just like to know where the hell you getting your information from. Can you do that? Because if you can't bring it to the table, I'm calling bullshit on everything you say. You feel me? All right. And from a squad out there that encounters people like this, people that don't keep the same energy if life is throwing them for a loop. If they're acting one way up here, but then something don't go their way, they're gonna act a different shady ass way down here. If you encounter people like that, understand this person's history. Understand how they are in regards to their character so you can maybe decipher if you even want to go down that rabbit hole with them. Jay-Z one time said, don't argue with fools, because from a distance, people can't tell who is who. Yo, in the end of the day, learn how to organize your thoughts with facts and with evidence and be able to cite your sources. That way, whether we agree or disagree with something you say, we can at least find out where that knowledge and information is at so we can make our own informed decisions. Your homie, JGreene, I'm out.